Hey guys, I'm Deepthi and in today's video I'm going to be swatching I think almost 50 lipsticks and finding dupes for that. So it's like 50 high-end, more than 50 affordable dupes. So I hope I have 50. I haven't even counted it yet, but I'm going to be rounding it off to 50. So some of these are like exact similar dupes, some of them are not. I'm mentioning them in the video, and I'll also put up a percentage of it right here so that you can know how similar it is. So it took me a lot of time to collect the dupes for this. I had to sit down, swatch each and everything very precisely, look at it very close and find out similar shades for this. So I'll try my best to make this video as useful as it can be. Oh, my lips are burning, they are on fire, and my teeth is stained from the lip swatch as well. Let's go. The first one we are going to be swatching is MAC topped with brandy, and an exact dupe for MAC topped with brandy is from Lakme. This one is their precision lip paint in the shade Whirling Brown. And I swatched a couple of different shades that were the most popular dupes that were recommended, but I found this one to be the exact same shade as topped with brandy in terms of undertone, in terms of how they dry down. And topped with brandy is sort of like, it has a little bit of purple, brown, mauve, plums. It is a very different shade, and I feel like only Lakme Whirling Brown is exactly similar to that. Of course, the Lakme one is not a liquid lipstick. It is a creamy formula. It does transfer quite a bit, but if you were looking for a shade dupe, this is the one you can try out. Another shade that we have that is said to be quite similar to topped with brandy is the Miss Claire Matte Power Lip Color. This one is in the shade number 10. Now, if you were to swatch this side by side and if you were to look it up really close, you can see that topped with brandy is a little bit more deeper, and it has a little bit more of a grungy grayish undertone to it, whereas the Miss Claire one has a little bit more of a purple undertone. But the formula of the Miss Claire one is quite nice. It is a liquid lipstick, and it's not very pigmented, but it's not very sheer as well, and it is quite comfortable on the lips as well, so you would really like that. The next one again we have is a MAC liquid lipstick in the shade Carnivorous. And the dupe we have for this one is from one of my favorite brands, that is Kiro. This one is such a hydrating formula. So these makeup products are infused with skincare ingredients, and it is so true when it comes to this particular brand, because most of their lip products that I have tried out, not one has disappointed me. It is amazing and such a nice cruelty-free vegan brand, and they believe in an amalgamation of makeup and skincare. These liquid lipsticks I feel like perform or outperform the MAC liquid lipsticks, even because they are super pigmented. You can see it's not one bit patchy on my lips where I've applied the Kiro liquid lipstick, whereas the MAC side, it can be a little bit patchy sometimes, especially with the darker shades like this. And the Kiro one, just even if you have dry patches, even if you have any sort of flakiness, it just glides on like butter, and it just settles to a complete matte finish, and it looks so good and pigmented, not at all patchy. And I love the formulation of these liquid lipsticks. And in this video you guys are going to see a lot of dupes from Kiro. Another shade that the Kiro liquid lipstick is similar to is Faced Bittersweet. Just that the Faced liquid lipstick has a little bit more brown to it, whereas the Kiro one is a little bit more berry, as for the name that it stands out, that is called Berry Eclipse. But on the lips you can't really make out a difference. So the next one we have is the Huda Beauty liquid lipstick in the shade Icon, and the dupe that I have for it, which is almost exactly the same once you let it dry down, is from Shampoo. This one is their Extreme Wear Transfer Proof liquid lipstick, and this one is in the shade 483. Once you let it dry down, you can see how similar they look on the lips. Just that the Huda Beauty one has a little bit more brown to it, whereas the Shampoo one is a little bit more peachy, but they're almost like 98% similar on the lips. Next up we have the Too Faced liquid lipstick in the shade Nasty Girl. And then the exact dupe that I have for that is from Kiro. This one is their liquid lipstick in the shade Ladybird Red. I had swatched so many different red shades, and this was the one that was identical to it. Like, call this a 99% match or even a 100% match. Like, I cannot even see any difference of these two shades on my lips. Next up we have the Charlotte Tilbury lipstick in the shade Pillow Talk Medium. So the first shade that is quite similar to this is from Maybelline. This one is in the shade Nude Nuance. I've not heard a lot of people talk about this, but I sat and swatched it on my lips and I found it to be quite similar, and that's the reason I included this. This is the original formula of the creamy matte lipsticks, and I feel like the Charlotte Tilbury ones are not worth the hypes. Just that the Nude Nuance has a little bit more brown to it, I feel like, compared to Charlotte Tilbury, which has a little bit more pink. And another shade that is almost like a 99%, 100% match is from Nykaa. This one is their creamy So Creme lipstick in the shade Your Latte. It's exactly the similar undertone as the Charlotte Tilbury one, and I feel like even the pigmentation is very similar to that. And another shade that we have is from MAC. This is in the shade Creme in Your Coffee, and the dupe that we have is from, again, Maybelline. This one is in the shade Nude Nuance. Now, Charlotte Tilbury, Pillow Talk Medium, all of these shades are similar color family, just that the MAC one is extremely sheeny, so it looks like it's a different shade altogether because of the difference in finish. So the MAC one is a cream sheen lipstick, whereas the Maybelline one is a creamy matte lipstick, so it looks like it is a little bit more pigmented. Next up we have the Limecrime liquid lipstick in the shade Rustic, and the shade that is very similar to that is from Kiro. This one is in the shade Terra Red. I was searching for a dupe for this for the longest time and I finally found it. Finally. Makes me so happy when I find like the exact shade match. You guys can see this is 100% match. It's these two shades are like a reddish, like a very bright coral shade with a slight red hint to it. Next up we have the Jeffree Star liquid lipstick in the shade Dominatrix, and a shade that is very similar to that, oh my god, is from an Indian brand, and this one is from Chambord, and this is in the shade number 486. This is a very deep, dark, grungy brown shade, and if you are looking for a good alternative for this particular brand, you can try out Chambord for sure. Just that the formula is a little bit different. Like the Jeffree Star one is a little bit thick and moussey, and Chambord is a little bit runny. So the shades are quite similar. They are deep, grungy brown shades. Just that the Chambord one has a little bit more red, whereas the Jeffree Star liquid lipstick is almost like a true deep brown shade, but you can't really make out that much of a difference, so I would call this like a 98% match. So another liquid lipstick that is very similar to the Jeffree Star liquid lipstick in Dominatrix is Dose of Colors Chocolate Pasted. So a dupe for that is again from Chambord 486. The formula of both of this is very similar. They are quite runny and they take a long time to dry down on the lips, and that's the reason my lip swatch is of something that is not completely dried down. I usually never insert swatches of any lipstick that is not completely dried down, but this is taking forever to dry down on my lips. Next up we have a very popular shade. This one is the Too Faced Melted Matte Liquid Lipstick in the shade Makin Moves. This is a beautiful like burnt orange kind of a shade with a little bit of brown to it as well. A very beautiful nude shade. And a shade that is very similar to that is from Kiro. This one is in the shade Nude Mocha. Once you let them dry down on the lips, you can see they are quite similar, just that the Too Faced one is a little bit deeper on the lips. And then another shade that we have again that is quite similar to Too Faced Making Moves is from PAC. This one is in the shade number 08, and this is an identical match. I would say 100% similar shade. So you can choose whichever dupe you want to according to your convenience. I'm sitting on a stool that is custom made, which has no backrest, and I regret it. No backrest. Oh, look at the... Look at how uncanny they are. The next shade we have is the MAC Powder Kiss lipstick in the shade Sheer Outrage, and the dupe that I have for that is quite similar is from Maybelline. This one is their creamy matte lipstick in the shade Major Crimson. The Maybelline one is a little bit more brighter and the MAC is a little bit more subdued, and also the finish is very different, so that's the reason you can see a difference. They're not exactly the same shades, but I could just get only this shade that was pretty close to it. Next up we have the Limecrime liquid lipstick in the shade Feelins, and a shade that is identical to that is from ELF. This one is their liquid lipstick in the shade Red Vixen. So this is what they look like side by side. The Limecrime one has a little bit more of like a pink hint to it, but the ELF one is quickly catching up. I like the formula of the ELF liquid lipstick as well, and it looks beautiful on the lips. I I don't know, if you have to look really close, only then can you spot a difference. So they are a pretty good match in my humble opinion. This is the Elf and this is Limecrime. The next shade that we have is Huda Beauty liquid lipstick in the shade Heartbreaker. Now this is a very like pink toned red shade, and it has a very different undertone to it, and the closest that I could get was from Kiro Beauty. This one is in the shade Scarlet Poppy. Now the Kiro one has a little bit more red than pink compared to the Huda Beauty one, so they're not like the identical match. But I prefer the formula of the Kiro liquid lipstick over the Huda Beauty one, especially this particular shade, is because it is a little runny and it does bleed quite a bit, especially if you have to wear it underneath mask or if you were to eat something. So just keep that in mind. But this is how the shades look side by side. Next one we have is a Stila Stay All Day liquid lipstick. This one is in the shade Aria. I've been looking for a dupe for this for the longest time. Very identical dupe is from Bellora liquid lipstick. This one is in the shade Mauve Plum. This is, my friends, an identical shade. This makes me so happy to finally be able to find a shade that is exactly similar to this. The Bellora liquid lipstick has really good pigmentation, really good lasting power. It can be slightly drying depending on how you like your liquid lipsticks to be, but I like them and I don't find them to be very drying. However, you can't call them like super comfortable liquid lipsticks as well. The next one we have is the Too Faced liquid lipstick in the shade Finesse, and a shade that is very similar to that is from Sugar. This one is their metal liquid lipstick in the shade Bellatrix. This again is a genius find, if I may call it so myself, because they are super similar. They're exactly the same shades, my loves. The Sugar one is not an affordable dupe if you find it like in the MRP, but they usually have buy two get one on Sugar and sometimes flat discount, and that's the only ideal time to pick up the Sugar one because it's almost the price of the Too Faced liquid lipstick. The reason I'm showing you this is because if in case you have Sugar Bellatrix, you don't have to pick up the Too Faced melted matte liquid lipstick in the shade Finesse because you will be having two similar shades. Now if you're like, okay, the Sugar liquid lipstick in Bellatrix is too pricey for me, okay, you said affordable dupes. Where is the affordable dupe? I have it in the Lakme Forever Matte Liquid Lipstick in the variant Mauve Party. This is a little bit of a runny formula and not as pigmented as the Too Faced one is, but it's super affordable and less than a quarter of the Too Faced price. So this is Too Faced, this is Sugar, this is Lakme. The next one we have is the Anastasia liquid lipstick in the shade Vamp, and a shade that is similar to that is from Miss Claire. This one is the shade number 01. Now the Miss Claire one is a little bit more red compared to Anastasia Vamp. Vamp has a little bit more brown to it, and it is truly a little bit of a unique shade to dupe. But even this I can say is a pretty good match. On the lips you can't really make out a difference at all in terms of the undertone and everything. The next one we have is the Huda Beauty liquid lipstick in the shade Vixen. The shade that is quite similar to this is from Lakme. This one is in the shade Brown Espresso. The Lakme one is a little bit runny, not just a little bit, a little too runny. So it takes a little bit of a time for you to build on it, to apply it perfectly and get it to the pigmentation of the Huda Beauty liquid lipstick. But once you let it dry down, they look identical, and the Lakme one is super affordable. It took me a long time to get the dupe of the Huda Beauty liquid lipstick in Vixen. It was a different shade to dupe, but finally we are here. Next up we have the Charlotte Tilbury lipstick in the shade Pillow Talk. The first shade that we have is from Maybelline. This one is the lip crayon in the shade Lead the Way. Now on the hand swatch these look completely different, but on the lips they are identical. So don't just swatch it on your hand and just judge this not to be a dupe. Swatch it on your lips and see, and they are very similar. Another shade that is quite similar to this is from Milani. This one is their lip crayon in the shade Can't Even. So this is the Charlotte Tilbury one, this is Maybelline, and this is Milani. The next one we have is the Charlotte Tilbury lipstick in the shade Walk of Shame, and the closest match that I have for this one is from Sugar. This is their lipstick in the shade Revolutionary Rose. This is, I think, discontinued, but I'm so sorry, I cannot seem to find any other shade that's similar to this. So if you have Revolutionary Rose, you don't really have to get Walk of Shame. So day 2 to filming, and I am of course wearing the same outfit to keep up with some kind of uniformity. Let's get started with the next shade, that is MAC Marakesh Mere. This is their Powder Kiss lipstick, and the shade that is quite similar to that is from Kiro. This is their Lush Moist Matte lipstick in the shade Spicy Cinnamon. Now the MAC one has a little bit more brown hints to it, whereas the Kiro lipstick is a little bit more on the orange side of the spectrum. Next up, we have the Bobbi Brown Crushed Liquid Lipstick. This one is in the shade Juicy Date, and the dupe I have for that is from Nykaa. This one is their Demi Matte Liquid Lipstick. This one is in the shade On Fleek. So this is what they look like side by side, and I feel like, you know, in terms of formula, in terms of how the shades look like on the lips, they're exactly the same. These are not matte liquid lipsticks, so they do have a sheen and they do transfer quite a bit. So the next one we have is from Smashbox. This one is in the shade Gulabae. The dupe that I have is from Lakme. This one is their Matte Melt Mini Liquid Lipstick, and this one is in the shade Nude Umbrella. It's very, very similar to Gulabae. So the next one we have is a Smashbox liquid lipstick. This one is in the shade Babe Alert, and the shade that is quite similar to that is from Plume. This one is their Luxe Matte Liquid Lipstick in the shade Blush Babe. So they are pretty much identical on the lips, and the formula is again quite similar. Even the Plume liquid lipstick is long wearing and comfortable on the lips. Next up, we have the Jeffree Star liquid lipstick in the shade Nathan, and the dupe for that is from Kiro. This one is their liquid lipstick in the shade Peach Nude, but these are really like pale peachy nude shades. So definitely look into this if you have like light and maybe light medium skin tone. Next up, we have the Jeffree Star liquid lipstick in the shade Christmas Cookie, and the dupe that I have for that is from Insight, and this one is in the shade Desert Taupe. The Insight liquid lipstick is almost the same shade as the Jeffree Star one, and it's so hard to find such kind of like pale nude shades. I feel like to find a dupe for that. So the Insight liquid lipstick, the lighter shades I feel like are a little bit more comfortable, more long wearing. They don't feel sticky on the lips, and they don't really flake off or come off very easily. The deeper shades are a little bit tricky with this particular formula. The next one we have is the MAC liquid lipstick in the shade High Drama, and the dupe we have for that is the Miss Claire Matte Power Lip Color. This one is in the shade number 13. Now the Miss Claire one is not as pigmented as the MAC liquid lipstick. It takes a couple of building up to do, and even then it can be a little bit patchy on the lips because it is such a dark shade, so just keep that in mind. But the formula is comfortable. Even though the shades are very similar, because it is not as pigmented as a MAC liquid lipstick, you can see a stark demarcation on the lips. The next one we have is a MAC lipstick in the shade Natural Born Leader, and the dupe we have for that is from Swiss Beauty. This one is in the shade Mauve Taupe. Now the MAC lipstick is a little bit more on the berry tone side, whereas Mauve Taupe doesn't have that, but this is the closest I could get to this shade. Next one we have is the Huda Beauty liquid lipstick in the shade Muse, and the dupe that I have for that is NY Bay. This one is in the shade Ladies Night. On the swatches you can see that they are quite similar. However, the Huda Beauty one has a little bit more of that lilac hints to it, whereas the NY Bay one is a little bit more pink. But this is the closest that I could get to this particular shade. I swatched a couple of different shades, and this was the closest I could get to that. Next up we have the MAC Love Me Liquid Lip Color. This one is in the shade Hey Frenchie. The dupe that I have for that is from Plume. This one is the Luxe Matte Liquid Lip Color. This one is in the shade Dollish. This is the closest that I could find in terms of formula as well as shade. So both of these don't really dry down completely matte, and they remain like this, a little bit glossy on the lips. The next shade we have is the Smashbox liquid lipstick in the shade Driver's Seat, and the dupe we have is the Maybelline Sensational Liquid Matte Lipstick, and this one is in the shade Sensationally Me. This shade, oh my god you guys, is like 100% match. It looks identical on the lips, and the Maybelline one is quite affordable as well. I mean, if you were to compare it with the full size of the Smashbox liquid lipstick, so you can make the decision yourself. The next one we have is the Huda Beauty liquid lipstick in the shade Vixen, and the dupe we have for that is from Kiro Beauty. This one is in the shade Dark Currant. From back in the day, I was trying to find an absolute perfect match for the Huda Beauty, and I think I finally found it in Kiro Beauty. The Huda Beauty liquid lipstick is a little bit runny, a little bit patchy. You have to layer it up quite a bit, but the Kiro one is like one swipe pigmentation. The next shade that is again identical to Huda, Vixen and Kiro Dark Currant is MAC Powder Kiss liquid lip color. This one is in the shade Make Love to the Camera. Though the formula of the MAC liquid lipstick is not completely like a matte finish, okay? It dries down to a comfortable finish. It's a little bit creamy on the lips and it does transfer quite a bit. And it's okay if you have lighter shades like that, especially when you're wearing dark shades like this and it transfers quite a bit. It is an issue for me. So the next one we have is the MAC Love Me liquid lip color. This one is in the shade Adore Me, and the dupe we have for that is from Cuffs and Lashes. This one is their gloss and this one is in the shade Rumor. So both of these are similar in terms of formula as well. I've tried to keep it like similar formula, not just shades, so that you get a feel of the higher end lipstick as well when you're trying out these. Now in terms of shade, it is quite similar, although the MAC liquid lipstick has a little bit of like a pink hint to it. Whereas the Cuffs and Lashes has a little bit more of an orange hint to it. But I don't think you can make out that much of a stark difference. Next one we have is a MAC lipstick in the shade Dangerous. This is a retro matte lipstick and the dupe that I have for that is from Sugar. This one is their Good Moody's lip crayon in the shade number 10, Wild Child. Now the Sugar is not a great value for money in terms of price per quantity. I just want to give you guys a quick heads up. Next one we have is the Huda Beauty liquid lipstick in the shade Spice Girl, and the dupe that we have is, okay, this is not an exact match, okay? It's from NYB. This one is in the shade Mugs and Hugs. I feel like once you let Mugs and Hugs dry down, it looks quite similar, but Huda Beauty has a little bit more brown. So these are not exact shade matches. The NYB liquid lipstick, when you first applied, it's a completely different shade, but let it dry down on your lips and you can see it's actually a completely different shade later. Next shade we have is from Jeffree Star. This one is their liquid lipstick in the shade Androgyny, and a shade that is quite similar to that is from Rimmel. This one is in the shade Troublemaker. You can't really find the Rimmel one anymore. I hope they bring back this shade in stock. It's just that the Rimmel one is not as pigmented as the Jeffree Star liquid lipstick, and the Jeffree Star one has a little bit more of a greyish kind of an undertone to it. So you can make out a little bit of a difference on the lips. They are not an exact match. Because the Rimmel one is not as pigmented as the Jeffree Star liquid lipstick, you can see a little bit of a shade shift and a difference because this one is not giving me the pigmentation that the Jeffree Star liquid lipstick is providing. However, the color family is very, very similar. Another shade that is an exact match almost for the Jeffree Star liquid lipstick is actually the previous dupe that I mentioned. This one is the NYB liquid lipstick in the shade Mugs and Hugs. Like I mentioned for the Spice Girl dupe, that this has a little bit more mauve hints to it, the Mugs and Hugs. It is like that on the lips, and you can see it's a pretty good match for the Jeffree Star liquid lipstick. So all of these shades come in pretty much similar color family. So don't get fooled by the NYB liquid lipstick. They apply like a brown shade and everything and then dry down to a completely different shade on the lips. This is not anything that I've altered with the lighting or anything of that sort, you guys. This is how the liquid lipstick is. I cannot change the shade to a completely different shade like some people mentioned in my previous lip swatches. Huda Spice Girl. Okay, you can see that it has that subtle mauvey brown hint to it. This is Jeffree Star Androgyny. This is NYB. And this is Rimmel Troublemaker. Next up we have the Smashbox liquid lipstick in the shade Stepping Out, and the dupe for that is from e.l.f. This one is in the shade Praline. My Smashbox liquid lipstick dried down completely in the tube, so I had to fix it with a little bit of Inglot Duraline, and it's taking forever to dry down on my lips. The next one we have is the Huda Beauty liquid lipstick in the shade Trendsetter, very popular shade, and the closest that I could get to that shade was from Kiro Beauty. This one is in the shade Cinnamon Nude. Huda is a little warm toned and Cinnamon Nude has slight cool brown to it, but you can't really make out that much on the lips, at least for me. It matches pretty well on my lips, and so that's the reason I decided to include this as a dupe. Even when I was testing it out, I actually swatched this on my lips and then I was like, okay, yeah, they are quite similar. And I also wanted to swatch her Anastasia Ashton and compare it with Cinnamon Nude because they are of a similar color family, but they have a shade shift. Anastasia has a little bit more of a burnt orange hint to it. So I just want to show you guys a swatch of both the shades side by side. The next one we have is a MAC liquid lipstick in the shade Too Matte with Love, and the dupe we have for that is from Faces. This one is in the shade Tea Spiller. Both are warm pink shades, and because the MAC liquid lipstick is discontinued, you can of course try out the Faces liquid lipstick. The next shade that we have is from Too Faced. This one is in the shade Sellout, and the dupe we have for that is from Inside. This one is in the shade Bougie. And this shade is definitely for people with light and light medium skin tone. The next one we have is the MAC liquid lipstick in the shade Dance With Me, and the dupe that I have for that is from Shambho. This one is the liquid lipstick in the shade number 406. Both are like a pink toned red shade. The next one we have is from MAC. This one is the Love Me liquid lip color, and this one is in the shade Been There Plum That, and this one is the L'Oreal liquid lipstick in the shade I Captivate. These are not similar formulas, but the shade is identical, so that's the reason I included it. I don't really have a similar formula in this particular shade. The next shade that we have is MAC Bricola, and the dupe we have for that is Kiro lipstick in the shade Tulip Bloom. Of course, the Kiro lipstick has a different finish, so it looks a little bit more pigmented and maybe like a little bit of a different shade. But if you wanted a better, like if you wanted like a creamy matte formula in the same shade, you can try this out. So the next couple of ones, I'm not going to be swatching on my lips, but I'm going to just be telling you guys that all of these are exactly the same, so I'm going to swatch it on my hand. First one we have is MAC Ruby Few, then we have Too Faced Lady Balls, we have MAC Feel So Grand, and then we have Limecrime Red Velvet. You can find the dupes for that in these shades. We have Kiro Fiery Ruby, we have Miss Claire 07. All of these are pretty much exactly the same shades, so they are almost similar undertones in reds, so you don't really have to buy all of these. If you have one of that, you can stick to it. Of course, if you prefer a different formula, you can try that out. That's pretty much all the lipstick swatches that I wanted to show you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a lot of effort from my end, but I hope it was worth it. So yeah, let me know what other lipstick dupes you want to watch in the comment section down below. While you're at it, give this video a big thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.